It took several months because I had no experience before and had to learn everything for uploading from the beginning. Music, picture, video scenes, narration, display, translate, voice, etc. As everybody said, it is almost same as a filmmaking. Now I start to write the scenario, synopsis for part 2. My video making skill is getting better, but I also have many things to do as all woman does. My grandfather's house was cold. It was a Japanese-style house built in the mountainous region of Korea, so you can imagine how well the heating system was. My grandmother, who only spoke a few words all day, seemed to be dusting and cleaning always. When she spoke to my grandfather in Japanese, my grandmother would sometimes smile faintly, and she would only say to me like, "Please eat. You should change your clothes. Or, you should go to bed early." Except for midsummer, my grandmother always wore a baya, which is now a vest. The inside was made of a curly dark gray and brown, wool-like material, and the outside was made of a woven purple and light green pattern. I cried almost every night. I missed my mother, and the starched comforter was too cold, so I couldn't sleep. The pillowcase was also starched, so when I moved my head or turned my body to lie down, the comforter cover and pillowcase rustled. Wiped my tears and snot with my underwear sleeve, afraid that they would get on my pillow. My grandmother would hang the starched quilt on a clothesline, then take it out and iron it while it was still a little dry. If you evenly beat it with 2 mallets on a stone or wooden iron, it will quickly become a new piece of cloth that has been ironed. The pattern on my grandfather's quilt was a blue pine tree with 6 branches, 3 on each side. Even now, I look at the trees that are packed into Home Depot or on trains and silently go somewhere on the long railroad tracks. The trees are stamped with the blue of the picture of the long pine trees. Early in the morning, my grandfather would wash his face with a basin placed on a stone placed under the floor, comb his hair while looking at a small mirror attached to a pillar, and brush his teeth with coarse salt on his thumb. As the water dripped down my head, he saw me crouching and laughed and said, "Oh, tiger." Next, he would open his beloved small, a span-long razor knife from the leather belt hanging on the pillar, hold the end of the belt, and raise and lower the small knife, repeatedly to sharpen it. I imitated the sound of the knife being sharpened on the leather belt. SSAK SSAK. My grandfather imitated the sound I made, sack SSAK. He looked at me and said, "That's where that sound is coming from," and said, "Yoshi Yoshi tilde," happily. When Gr Napa went out to work, I had to play alone at home all day. I ate all the kernels of boiled corn and played with corn dolls, made of cutting corn leaves into small pieces. And I also dressed up a pillow with my grandmother's skirt, towel, and wrapping cloth. My basket was full of corn dolls that my grandfather made. Sometimes I flip over Grandpa's abacus and sit on it to play, and I played with his magnifying glass. But I'm so bored. It's fun to flip Grandpa's abacus over and ride it, but it's not fun to ride it alone. When I use my grandfather's magnifying glass, the room looks bumpy. When I walk around, I feel like I'm going to fall over, but I don't. It's a little funny, but it's still not funny. Grandma didn't play with me. She did only the laundry, such as clothes, bedding, and quilts, and hung them out in the yard. Before the laundry was completely dry, she collected them, put water in her mouth, and sprinkled water on them. Then she would lay the laundry on top of the whetstone, and beat it with 2 mallets for 2 hours. So her laundry was almost always starched and hard and quilted and shiny. One day, I cried and threw a tantrum, saying I was going to see my mother. I had a fever and was sick. According to my grandfather, I had a horn of flu. Where did the horn come from? Grandma said that the horn had flu horns. Grandpa used to wipe my face every morning, and the towel he had soaked in water was placed on my forehead, and I ate white porridge instead of steamed rice. I was at Mom's house in my dream. My brothers were running and watching me around, and Grandpa looked me in the room from outside. When I waked up, I realized it was a dream. When I woke up from the dream, I cried again because I was sad, but in my heart, I cried even more because I thought about my grandfather, who would be waiting for me when I went to my mother's house. At that time, I held my grandfather's finger tightly as I always did.